Thank you so much, Chris. And you know what? I happen to agree with the desk here as far as Immortals is concerned. I'm really liking them going into control, especially considering how weak Rogue have been in that particular game mode.
Yeah, and I think something that the desk didn't really hit on, but I think you kind of look. I thought AKM played pretty good for Rogue yesterday, although it was in a loss. I think Soon versus Grim Reality is a huge matchup.
Yeah, it is exciting.
I think if Soon can get to the enemy backline, he can really cause a lot of problems. And I think on the other end, with how Rogue has not really protected their supports, if Grim can't get there, they don't really have to worry about having Nico fall back on the D.Va. They can just keep playing that aggressive playstyle. So I think that'll be really telling between those two players. What happens in this match?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the FNR-GFE game. The undoing was, one, the Far Mercy, but then two is just really control. Control hurts them so much. I'm really going to continue to hamper on this. They haven't won control at all throughout this season.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and for a squad that really can slay with the best of them, it is quite surprising that is the case. Even with the Colsey switch, they still weren't able to come out on top on that.
Well, I think, with the yesterday's game, with the FNR-GFE game, it was really the Far Mercy that they just were not able to deal with.
Yeah,
I know you saw it on Oasis, you saw it on Ilios at the end. Maybe we see it here. The first map actually will be Lijiang Tower. So the dev's talking about Nepal. It will be Lijiang Tower. I know as we get into the game, we'll talk a little bit more about the comps, as I know the teams still have some time to get set up. I think the desk hit on it. No NV on the Zarya. It's been hit or miss. Some of the ult usage has been a little bit lackluster.
Envy in general has just been lackluster, which is pretty shocking considering that, as the desk was mentioning before, this was a squad that really prided themselves not necessarily relying on their DPS, but that combo of Fate and Envy working together. So that is a little alarming here, but here we go. As the match is going to begin, it will be Night Market to kick things off here on Lijiang.
Yeah, the only difference between these two teams, you'll have Kariv, he'll be running the Zenyatta. Unko on the other side will move off of Zenyatta, they'll go over to Ana. And then you'll have Grim Reality run the Tracer as AKM will pick up the McCree. Both teams running a Doomfist, great for this point. You're able to just knock these players back into the walls.
Yeah, both teams have shown to be quite formidable with Doomfist there. Fate's going to be the first one to go down, though, as AKM will get that first blood. Agilities goes right into the back. See if he can find anyone. Instead, he's going to get caught by Soon instead. And so far, so good for Rogue as they establish control on the point. Grim's going to try his best to stall this one out, give his teammate the opportunity to get back into the action here. They end up losing out on Envy, so they won't have the added protection. And just some more stall coming in for Immortals. So far, so good for Rogue here. They're getting the kills necessary. They just got to push them out of this point. But wait a minute, Grim comes in with the Pulse Bomb. Is going to drop too, and that's huge.
Yeah, it's a big Pulse Bomb from Grim Reality, but Nico, he's going to get the effects of a Nano Boost. Rogue uses a Sound Barrier there as well. They're able to take the point.
Yeah.
But still, you have to use both support ults there towards the end. Now, Nico going to build up towards a Grav here for Rogue. You'll also have Soon with that Meteor Strike. But Immortals, you saw Fate dive in. He goes right into that Reinhardt-Zarya combination. Nobody there to follow it up. AKM takes him out right away. There's just not a lot of follow-up there for Immortals at the beginning.
Yeah, but that Pulse Bomb, though, forcing out the support ults, as you mentioned before, X, I mean, you have to love that. Now they just want to be able to build up ult, get the poke, and get into the point here. They're getting kills, but it's just not enough. And Grim Reality switching over to the McCree, continuing to march his way forward here, going to work alongside with Fate. Fate has to be careful not to get picked off, though. Diving right back in. There goes with the Doomfist as well. Nox is going to hold on to that Earth Shatter. I think he's so close to dying, and there you have it. Immortals, they're going to push right in, and they should be able to make this flip happen. Yes, they do. Immortals get it back, but 56% gain for Rogue.
Yeah, they take out Wins and Soon at the beginning there, and they're able to just kind of extend that fight a little bit longer. Now we see Rogue, they have the Deadeye, they have an Earth Shatter. See if they combo it.
Now let's see what we're gonna get here as Rogue make their way on the left side. They're gonna push up, fight on the point, forcing a lot of the action out here. AKM with the Deadeye, interested to see when he's gonna opt to use it. No, he will not get the opportunity to do so because Grim Reality is gonna be there for the stop. Soon, though, tries to level the playing field by taking out Envy from this. Soon looking around here with the Doomfist. Does he get the picks? No, it's going to be all blue as Immortals come out on top in this fight. Rogue back at it again. Need to figure it out as they're going to make significant progress on the percentage here.
So Rogue, they do have a sound barrier. They have a meteor strike. You see Nox, though, he will switch over to the Winston here. So you're going to have Winston Zarya now instead of the Reinhardt. But right away, Agility's able to get a pick. You see how effective Doomfist can be.
Yes, Doomfist has been a game changer this season of Contenders, and the damage that he outputs is just absolutely absurd. Could look, I mean, Nico is going to have that Graviton in just a little bit. Transcendence is going to come out, and they can bait this one out. They have no support ults. I think you're going to see that Meteor Strike come down, and he's going to find himself 3. And now this is going to be Rogue looking fantastic. They make the flip happen.
Yeah, and they get Kariv to use the Transcendence. They just wait and wait and wait. They enter with the sound barrier. As soon as it's about to wear off, they drop the grab, they drop the Meteor Strike. Rogue will take the point back. Now coming into this next fight, AKM still with that Deadeye. You don't have the support ults for the side of Rogue. Immortals not going to have support ults here either. Just going to have that Primal Rage.
And what I also like here from Immortals is they're just really trying to scout out as much as they can. See where the Winston's going to be located. As, I don't know, though, if it really will matter all that much because they're just going to resort to going back to the point, see if they can zone him out. AKM, he was able to do significant damage there to the Winston. They're going to end up losing Fate. Meteor Strike in the sky. Agilities looking to dive in on some fools with this one perhaps, but instead he won't really get all that much out of it, just actually taking out wins. So that will be a big fight win for them here, and Immortals want to get right back on this. They managed to make the flip happen, they win the fight out, and now 99%, one fight that Rogue needs here and they can come out on top.
But Rogue did use a nano boost during that fight. We'll see what they decide to go with here. Immortals in a good spot. Goldenboy, they have both support ultimates. Grim Reality getting very close to a Deadeye. We'll see how Rogue decides to play this. And oh, look at that. Kariv at the beginning takes out Unko. And I mean, now Rogue, you're forced to go. You can't wait for Unko to come off the spawn. Here comes the Transcendence.
And don't forget, they're also going to have a sound barrier to use as well. But I just cannot see them coming out on top of this one. 99% to 99%. And it's going to be blue on the point. Immortals will take the night market. And very well done out of them as they managed to draw first blood here. Rogue continuing to struggle on control, though that was a good first start for them. Just not being able to close it out, I'm sure, stings.
Yeah, when they lose Unko at the beginning of that last fight, that really hurt. You lose the healing from Mana, the biotic grenade, right? If you were going in, then maybe you can deny some of, the Transcendence healing. Verbo, though, he had a sound barrier as well. So Immortals had a ton of ults there to work with at the end. We'll see what either team decides to change here. It looks like Fate will go over to the Reinhardt. Envy will go over to Zarya. And then for Rogue, you'll have AKM run the 76. This is what we really saw him put to good use yesterday.
It's going to be dueling styles here when you really think about it, with that dive coming out for Rogue. Meanwhile, Immortals, they're going to want to play this one a little closer to the chest here, group up a bit more, really rely on that Zarya protection, and then let Agilities, get those one hits and really kind of disrupt what Rogue would like to accomplish here. And they know that he's going to be above, so they, wisely enough, do not push out willy-nilly just yet, though. I believe they saw the Winston above, and will have to drop down here, and the fight still continues.
Well, they're in a tough spot, because you can't really go up and challenge AKM on that high ground. Grim would have to kind of go all the way around the map or go to the point. And AKM up there with a chance to lay down a lot of free fire, but it's going to be Agilities opening things up, doing a lot of damage to the supports there of Rogue. He's able to land a right hand to the face of Unko. But Rogue still hanging in this fight. You have AKM up top. He has still not been dealt with.
Yeah, and the fact that Nox has not been taken out either. I mean, he was so close, dead to rights almost. But he was able to get out of there. So just, again, staying alive, doing the best that they can to just support one another here, and that's exactly what Rogue will do. And keep in mind, when Rogue played against Envision at the opener, week 1, this was the one that they actually won. They ended up winning Control Center, and they did so in a dominating fashion, courtesy of that Doomfist from Soon.
Well, now you lose Grim Reality, as both teams will get both support ults. Fate getting very close to an Earth Shatter. AKM up top is going to have that tack visor. They need to get him out of that position. Nox takes out Agilities here, so you're going to have to back up if you're Immortals. So I really think maybe you see Agilities go over to the Genji here. You're able to get towards that high ground, put some more pressure on AKM. But if they go in, maybe you lead with the Deadeye. You're able to back AKM off of that good high ground.
Perhaps, see if they can. You see Nox and AKM up there working together. Grim Reality waiting for the opportunity to pop the Deadeye. Fate's going to be inside of the point by himself, and he's looking for the support. And there goes the tack visor. You heard it pop out, and he's picking off the kills there on the supports. Nox is not going to be in the best of spots, but I just don't think that this is a fight that Immortals can win. And Grim is just going to have to back out here. Still haven't popped that Deadeye, but they did force out that attack from the Rogue, so at the very least they were able to get that out of there.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue uses a sound barrier, nano boost, and a tack visor there. Kareev, for the side of Immortals, he did use a nano boost of his own, but look at Immortals. I mean, you have a lot of other ults here to work with. You can lead in with the sound barrier if you want. Let's see if Envy can land a good grab.
There goes the Graviton Surge. I think we're going to get that Meteor Strike coming down on both sides, as a matter of fact. And Agilities gets the kill on Unko. He follows it up with another one on Nico there. And they're hovering around this. I mean, 94%. It's getting dangerously close. Immortals have to make this flip happen, but they're just not getting the kills. 99%. We're in overtime, and they just have no one to be able to contest this here. And that is going to be Rogue getting that win, similar to what we saw on the Envision matchup, in that Envision matchup, when they were able to win Control Center there as well. Immortals need to figure out how they want to play this one out going into Garden.
Yeah, and you saw Agilities there. He's able to pick up a kill or two with that Meteor Strike, but he has to hide behind the wall. Why? Because AKM's still up top, just firing down on the 76, getting the players weak, letting his teammates extend the fight. So now it's interesting. We go to the final point here on Lijiang Tower. Agilities will run the Pharah. How Rogue deals with this. So right now you have Genji and Tracer for Rogue. So you have AKM now switching over to the Diva. Now, yesterday they had AKM on the 76, Nico on the Diva to try and deal with this. Now making some adjustments.
Time to see if Pharmacy is the kryptonite for the Frenchman, because it hasn't been something that they've been able to win out against quite yet. You just have to be so cautious with that fire in the air. You need to be able to take care of it. But Nico already is going to dive in and take out Fate.
Well, here's the kind of other counterplay you can do with this Pharah Mercy combo, right? You focus AKM on eating up a lot of these rockets that Pharah is going to lay down, and you get your Genji, Tracer, Winston combination with your Zenyatta laying down the Discord orbs, and you just focus on the players on the ground. You force that Pharah Mercy combo out of the sky, and you see already, it'll be Immortals switching off of Pharah Mercy. They'll have Kareev go over the Zenyatta, Agilities now on the Genji. So, once the other team has control of the point, it's very difficult to make that Pharah Mercy work.
Yeah, wisely enough, switching out of that one next, and as you mentioned before, now they got to make this new composition work here, and Agilities already opens it up, as we expect them to on the Genji, taking out Nox. So similar to what we saw on the other side, Immortals losing out on their tank early. It's going to be the other, as AKM also will be dropped. You're not going to get Diva protection. You're not going to get the Winston there as well. And Kareev doing the work too. Grim backing up wisely here, knowing that he just needs to stay alive and continue to protect the back. See if anyone tries to go in there and challenge Grim. He gets the pulse bomb off on him, nearly taking out AKM. And this so far so good for Immortals. They have the bodies on the point. They should be able to make this flip happen though. There goes the sound barrier to keep Wins and Soon in the fight, but the sound barrier on the other side though, for Immortals, answers right back. One more kill.
Rogue is just extending this for so long. Finally, Nico will fall, Soon has to back up, but they went from about like 25, 30% all the way to 57% there.
Beautiful stall from Rogue.
They invest the sound barrier, but it also makes Immortals use a sound barrier to try and close it out. Now, for the side of Immortals, you'll have that Transcendence when Nico uses that Dragon Blade. If you're a Rogue, though, coming back into the point, you want to see if you can force that Transcendence out before you use that Dragon Blade.
Gonna have to make something happen here, diving right in, and I think they're just gonna have to force the trans. No, Kareev is not gonna use it there. And there comes the Dragon Blade. Nico cutting right through them. The Transcendence on the other side for Rogue for the added protection. Diva self-destruct comes in and Envy gets 3 kills there. Huge play out of him. AKM's gonna be on the point doing his best to stay alive, but the Tesla cannon has other plans. And that will be AKM having to go off the point, and Immortals able to stay alive from a huge self-destruct courtesy of Envy.
And Rogue thinks they have that fight won. As soon as they take out Kareev, they use their own Dragon Blade. The Transcendence is not a player there for Immortals, but Dragon Blade coming in from Agilities. And then you also saw Envy with a huge self-destruct. We'll take a replay of it here.
Wow.
Takes
as soon
out
as that
3
Transcendence
members.
went away too.
Is now Immortals still in control of the point, racking up percentage. All the kills going in favor of Immortals here as Nox trying to knock some of these players back here, getting Kareev really low, but the rest of his teammates had fallen here.
And that was on their side too, which is pretty funny there.
Yeah.
77%. But by the time this next fight starts here, you're going to be around 85, and then you have to take into consideration the stall. So, I mean, I could realistically see Immortals drag this one out to 99%. They just need to be able to get the kills. But Verbo's going to fall first in the fight, though. You don't get that Winston. Primal Rage. As Fate tries to clear him out, but he's going to be in a world of hurt. Barely any health remaining. They end up losing out on Envy too, so no more tanks for Immortals to stay alive. 99% is going to be in effect. You will be in overtime here, but Immortals losing control. Rogue will sit on it, and they manage to flip it. Now it's their turn to go on the offensive.
Yeah, and Rogue takes that just using the pulse bomb. You know, you get a kill on a Kariv in the back of your spawn. You regroup Verbo. You know, really playing right on your bridge. You're able to get him out of harm's way with ease. Now for Rogue, this is getting interesting, Goldenboy, because Immortals, you know, maybe you have the sound barrier for this fight. You got to think about investing in as Rogue up to 75%. But look at Rogue. You have that Dragon Blade, the self-destruct going to lead the way here. AKM launches over the top. You're able to get Verbo, and he is the closest to the support ult, so you're not going to have a sound barrier opportunity here.
And they use the sound barrier on their side too to clear out the members of Immortals. And for Immortals, they got to get there as soon as possible. They have 91%, 92. It's ticking so fast, and they just have to put a body on it to contest it, get into overtime. They should be able to make this one happen, as Envy is going to get inside of the point. They're going to have to drop the beat, though, but it doesn't catch a lot of folks. Nico's going to cut through everything. Diva, self-destruct, is going to go down. Finds himself Envy, takes out Verbo as well, and the Transcendence is out for Unco there to keep everyone alive and protected, and so far, so good for the Frenchman, as Rogue just looked to clear out Grim Reality, who's being a nuisance on the point, trying to give his team an opportunity, but that will not be the case. Rogue will take control finally.
Yeah, and Rogue puts a lot of pressure on the bridge there towards the end. You don't let them just kind of walk on in with that sound barrier. The sound barrier only connects with like 3 other members outside of Verbo.
It looked like it didn't even catch
it did.
that
I think they caught the Rhine and the Diva in, so they use the sound barrier, and then the Rhine and the Diva just kind of like jump right in, and they never get a really great use of their Transcendence there towards the end. Rogue, you know, you saw Nico with the Dragon Blade there, did some work, as they will take control. Game number 1 there on Lijiang Tower. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you were saying they had not won a control before that. Yeah.
This is great for Rogue. One thing Sideshow did mention was that they, you know, they would typically lose out on the control and then, you know, make their way over to Numbani. Numbani is a great map for Rogue. This team executes on this particular map. So it's like they can go 1 for 1 and they'll be okay going into the half. But if this is correct, I think Immortals are taking Rogue to Numbani.
Okay.
And I just don't feel that confident about Immortals in this map because Rogue, I mean, it's really hard to like stop people, you know, to stop them on like 1st and 2nd in Numbani. Numbani's like a really tough map. And then you get to that 3rd band, and then it just becomes a defensive stall, potentially. Rogue are really good at holding you on 1st and 2nd, though. Yeah,
I'm interested to see what Immortals decides to bring out here on Numbani. Now, maybe you would have said a Far Mercy, but no, I thought Rogue did an excellent job dealing with that Far Mercy on Lijiang Tower there towards the end. Instead of going with 76 on AKM and then Nico on the Diva like they did yesterday on Oasis, where they weren't really, they didn't have any protection for AKM in the back. They let the Buds, for FNR GFE, just lay down a ton of rockets, forcing Nico back then with the defense matrix. This time, they had Nico run Genji that had AKM on the Diva. They just focused AKM up on that Far Mercy, just let him just eat a lot of those rockets with the defense matrix, and then they just push straight on through. And at the beginning of that, you remember Nico gets a pick, and then it's forcing, the Far Mercy coming back all the way up.
Yeah, they get to pick on the tank, as a matter of fact, which is even bigger when you really think about the grand scheme of things.
We never saw the Far Mercy again there for Immortals, because I know it's pretty hard to retake.
They were donezo with that one.
Yeah, so it'll be Rogue starting things out on defense here on Numbani, and just like yesterday, we're going to see them have wins on the 76. AKM running the Sombra here. I know yesterday against FNRG FB, they got this first point. Now I know the payload taken pretty quickly. We'll see if Immortal stays with this comp. Yesterday, you saw Buds with the Far Mercy. That's how they were able to take the point against Rogue so fast. Looks like Immortals, they'll be going with the Genji Tracer combination. Agility's so good on Genji or Doomfist. I know it would be kind of risky having him run the Far here at the beginning, but we have a pause. We'll find out why we're paused. I love when a pause comes in.
Oh, it's always great. You always want pauses.
Yeah, so it looks like actually we lost soon, so we'll get soon right back in the lobby, and we'll get this one started up on Numbani for game number 2.
Yeah, like I said before, Rogue, they are a good team on Numbani, so Immortals, I mean, they have to be very confident here to take Rogue, because every time Rogue lost control, they went to Numbani, and they performed very, very well here. And I think it is a credit to that AKM Sombra. He builds that up pretty quickly, and he can really just harass in the back line, working alongside with like Tracer as well. And then, you know, you can't forget about those EMPs, and very also just instrumental with his hacks. He does a good job of getting in the back line and then bothering like Nico, for example.
Yeah, I mean,
bothering the Diva.
Yesterday, they couldn't make it work for them because the Far Mercy combination right there, FNR GFE, they were able to force Rogue off of the high ground, and they really like dove all the way back, almost pushing Rogue back to their spawn.
Yeah.
That doesn't allow you to get that EMP quick. You know, you had AKM split all the way off to that left-hand side. You're not able to let his teammates get the health pack. He was able to stall on the point for a little bit, but you were not able to really get that full effect of the Sombra. I'm interested to see how they set up today. Rogue, maybe they try something a little bit different. Some different
I think they feel confident in this match, though. I think they're like.
Oh, I agree.
Given what happened yesterday, I do think, and I do agree also with what Reinforce was saying. I think we're starting to see Rogue get their footing back here in North American Contenders. You know, good news there. Just by the way, guys, we're going to reset the lobby here and get the players all ready to go in just a little bit. There was like a slight connection issue with Soon. So everything should be taken care of relatively
very quickly,
soon.
yeah. But I think Immortals has to be feeling the pressure. Haven't gotten a win yet. You know, about halfway through the season here, we were talking, you know, coming into the week. Like, both of their games were must-wins this week. They lose the first one. Now, if you start out 0-1 here, you have to know what's at stake, right?
It's like, congratulations, you won Contenders Season 0. Guess what? That means literally nothing now, because you've just lost nonstop since then. And I'm pretty shocked. There's so much talent on this team, and I really don't know like what's going on. It could be the added pressure of you know, having to perform, knowing that, you know, the Immortals organization has an OWL spot, perhaps. I mean, I don't know, right? Like anything's possible here.
I think when you looked at both of these teams, right, they have such immense talent, but just the teamwork at times has looked off between these two squads. I think, you know, you've seen some, you know, odd stuff from the side of Immortal. Same thing with Rogue. I think you're starting to see Rogue starting to put together, you know, some really good games. I think the same thing with Immortals as well. You know, they've had, you know, some really good moments, you know, to also have, you know, some pretty bad moments. But
yeah, you have agilities as a highlight reel,
right?
But what's a highlight reel if you're not getting the W's? Because at the end of the day, the win is what matters the most in the Contender Season 1.
Well, you've seen them
here.
have some weird positioning, right? Like to the end of games. I mean, look at that Ilios game the other day. You know, Shadowburn uses a rocket barrage. They're able to eat it up, but they all back off like the point, and then they never make it back. Like, so it's kind of like weird things. I mean, they don't contest the cart on King's Row, I believe, when it's coming in towards the end. So you've seen some weird things from the side of Immortals. I think Rogue, obviously, you know, wins here week 1, not there week 2. You're still trying to like get your footing. You know, the triple DPS didn't work week 1, so you're trying to go back, you know, figure out some different things that could potentially work. You know, going into week 3, which I know that's where we are right now. Now, they lose yesterday to FNR GFE. It's a very close game. Today they take this first map. As I know, just being told, going to wait another few more minutes for Soon to get back in the lobby. But game 2 will be Numbani.
Yeah. Well, we're going to send it back to the desk in a little bit here, so you know, they can go ahead and break down game 1. One thing I do want to ask you is, you know, you were a coach for a professional team as well before, and you know the importance of communication. The Immortal side, just a quick note here. Do you think that having the 3 Koreans on the team and like, how important will that conversation be? You know, does small talk play a role, or are they just making call-outs and shot calls?
It's a team that's been successful before, right? With this lineup. So I really don't think, you know, that kind of comes into play. I think it's really, I mean, you're seeing, you know, Fate dive in a little bit too far. Maybe Envy's not there to back them up. You're seeing, you know, a weird grav use. I remember the one on King's Row where they use a grav in an Earth Shatter to take out Shadowburn, and then you don't have any of those ults for the next fight. You've just seen some really weird team play. I think it's more of just getting on the same page. Yeah, there's no synergy between
Well, you know, let's go ahead and send it back to the desk to break down game 1. We're going to get this one started in just a minute, folks. So thank you so much for your patience. Desk, over to you.
We're getting Soon back in the lobby. That's the game plan. For now, though, let's talk about game 1. And already, this is shaping up to be a really fun series. We go all 3 rounds in control. At the end of it, I have to ask you guys, what was the difference maker? Sideshow, you said this is a composition strategy change that we saw coming out of Rogue.
Yeah, it was really interesting, actually. They started out with a comp that we've never seen from them before. Nox on the Reinhardt, that's a rarity in itself. Nico on the Zarya, you very rarely see that. And then they have the Soon Fist along with AKM on McCree.
And he quickly swapped off the Reinhardt
That's true. That
from
is
Nox.
true.
And you know, I don't want to be the one to hate on him, but I want to see Nox play more Reinhardt.
How much more?
Do you
On a
want...
scale of
On
1
a
to
scale
10
of
or
1 to
what?
10, yeah.
What are you doing to me?
I think the reason you want to see Nox play more Reinhardt is because you predicted Immortals.
No, because I actually want to see, or well, that too,
That
sure,
too, that too, yes.
But I actually want to see if there's been any player that manages to make this transition to the main tank role. I mean, we've seen Gods do it, Swoosh doing it now for Misfits, and we've yet to really see someone make that switch to the main tank
On
role.
both heroes.
On both heroes, yes. Winston is completely different to Reinhardt, but I want to see if someone can actually pull it off and improve their Reinhardt to the point where they can bring it out in competitive play.
Well, I'll tell you where I thought things went awry for Immortals. They didn't seem to have a good game plan on Control Center. They let AKM be on the high ground for so long on that soldier. I don't think they ever went up and got him. And it was from the very first fight. I think we've got that available if we want to try to talk about it a little bit more. But the very, very first fight, he went up there, had free reign from above.
I was very negative to this Soldier pick because I actually think that the Soldier pick versus a Reinhardt and Zarya and Doomfist, it doesn't work in your favor because typically Soldier is a hero that lays in poke damage.
Right.
But when you're playing with a Doomfist and a Reinhardt and Zarya, you want to win the fights quickly with burst damage and get picks. And Soldier doesn't really play into that. But when Soldier is available on the high ground, as AKM was, and he was completely free, he lays in so much damage over time. And so when Immortals try to take this fight, but it goes on for too long, they don't really know how to take the fight, and AKM is just standing on the high ground for free, then it's completely different. And I guess Soldier is viable now in that comp.
Meanwhile, we saw so many members on the other side. Immortals, we had Grim Reality trying to get the picks. So many players were down to like 10% health, but they couldn't finish it. I wonder if the comp change came into effect. The game is ready. Real quick Sideshow before throw it back to the casters. Final thoughts before we go to game 2.
I don't know why Immortals are taking them to Numbani. They must be super confident. This map is going to be sick.
Rough map choice, says Sideshow. We'll see how it plays out for Immortals. They're currently in the hole 0-1.
Thank you so much. And Sideshow, I 100% agree with you. I don't know why Immortals are taking them to Numbani.
They have to be confident that they can put enough. I mean, maybe they watched the FNRGFE Rogue match yesterday, and maybe they feel confident enough to put a lot of pressure on the high ground and just back Rogue down with ease. But it is definitely an interesting pick, to say the least. So we got everybody back in the lobby just to give you guys an update on what's going on the screen here to my left. Rogue running the same exact comp. So you'll have wins now on the 76, AKM on the Sombra, a lot like what we saw yesterday.
Yeah. Again, first point hold, second point hold. Rogue are really good at that. I guess Immortals, they're just going to throw something out there. And actually, the game, the players are getting ready to go. I would like to be able to show, what's on the screen because what's interesting here is Immortals are running a Pharah Mercy.
They're going to change.
I mean, surely Envy is on that one, but you never know, man, because they could like work together here. I don't know. I'm trying to give them the edge. Actually, never mind. That's not going to work.
No, never mind. It's not going to happen.
Well, I would like to see a Pharah Mercy though. That would actually be a pretty cool, comp to like dive right into the top of the bridge here. Maybe not Envy and Fate, but I would like to see them do that.
I mean, it's what FNRGFE did yesterday. He had Buds on the Pharah, was able to force Rogue down for the high ground. But yeah, this will be Immortals running pretty much a standard comp for them. The really only thing you kind of question whether Grim is going to be Tracer McCree, and then Agilities whether he's going to be on Doomfist or Genji. The fact that you see the Genji, you're able to get up to that high ground a little bit more.
And there you see the harass from AKM right in the back line. He's going to charge up that ult very quickly. So Immortals, they have to make quick work of Rogue here if they want to be able to at least get that first tick off. And Fate's going to get slept, though, by the Ana, so that's going to hurt a little bit there. AKM's going to get the first pick on Kareev, but Grim Reality follows it right up here. As now it seems like Immortals, they are going to get some good pressure onto the point at this very moment. So far, so good for them.
Yeah, but AKM building up towards this EMP. His teammates just staying alive here.
He's got it.
Waiting
Can't
for
die.
him to potentially get back in the fight. They use the Bionic Grenade Ana to keep him up. Now they're going to jump right back onto the point. They have this EMP, but I think Immortals realize that that's why they back up. They want to spread out, don't all want to get cut in the EMP.
Oh, well, they end up getting caught. A few members actually ends up getting caught on that one. The EMP clears out Grim Reality, who can't blink out of that one. And Rogue were able to get right back into it. They're going to have to disengage, though, for the time being. Agilities and crew still manage to maintain control. There goes the sound barrier from Verbo to try and like bring them back into this right here, and the Transcendence as well. So they're just looking to go right into this one and force them back, X.
Yeah, and you saw Agilities, he was just waiting, getting that poke for the Dragon Blade. They're going to have to back up here. And that's a tough one for Immortals because you end up using, you get 2 ticks, but you use both your support ults here. You know, you end up having Wins use Attack Visor towards the end. But going into the next fight, AKM will have the EMP. Immortals, they'll earn themselves the Dragon Blade. They'll have what it looks like to be a Primal Rage, and they will also have a Self-Destruct. So we'll see how they decide to combo these ults. Still a lot of time on the clock here with 2 minutes to go.
They are very nervous about this EMP coming in. I mean, surely they know what the way that fight went. That AKM built up considerable amount. There goes the EMP. It's going to drop down. Fate's going to be on the point now, and he's gaining some progress. No one can really push up just yet, and that's going to prompt out Nox to use that Primal Rage, forcing it back. Nico's able to get the kill there on Fate, and Immortals will have to back away. The EMP invested into that fight, though, so not bad. They managed to bait out 2 ults in that one.
Yeah, that was a really nice play from Rogue, though. They had Unko and Wins backed all the way up, like almost like by their spawn door where their bus is. And Immortals, they go up for the high ground. When they jump up for the high ground to lead in with the Winston and the Diva, that's when the EMP comes in, and then that's when you see everybody come into the fight for Rogue. You're able to win it. And for the side of Immortals, you did not invest the Dragon Blade. You still have your own Primal Rage and Self-Destruct. So you got the Primal Rage out from the side of Rogue. Unko, though, getting very close to a Nano Boost, and AKM getting closer and closer to another EMP.
Yeah, and this is just the fear of playing against the Sombra. You just always are going to expect that EMP to come out so quickly. But Fate getting 3 kills there, clearing out the members of Rogue, and they're so close to being able to make this cap happen right there. They're just getting, you know, just some stall from Rogue, but that is going to do it. The first cap has gone through, and Immortals will make it happen. So not bad at all. They don't really put all that much into that fight either.
Oh, well, now you're going to see some changes come in for the side of Rogue. You'll bring out the Zenyatta on Unko, and Wins will now go off of the 76. He will go over to Lucio, but no, what's even bigger about Immortals winning that fight is all you had to do was use the Primal Rage. You still have this Dragon Blade. You're getting very close to getting both support ults back. And because, you know, you're swapping out both supports on the side of Rogue, it's going to take a little bit longer to build those up. So this may be one where Immortals can steamroll through the second phase.
Yeah, and you will typically see that too, because they are going to have that attacker's advantage with that close spawn. Oh, there goes the Pulse Bomb onto Unko. No more supports for you, but the payload still hasn't moved. So they have to make some kind of progress here, and Rogue just, again, stalling them out, really not letting them get any kind of progress, and they're just continuing to be a nuisance for them.
Yeah, you still have Nox there for Rogue, and you have Nico there as well, just on the point. So you're not able to get a ton of advancement of the payload as Soon's still here for Rogue. He'll finally fall, but it really just invested the Pulse Bomb from Grim Reality there. The supports just, no, free kills there for Grim Reality as he goes around. Unko and Wins had no help there. Now Rogue, they're going to come in fast and furious this next fight. You probably get a speed boost, the EMP, you have a Self-Destruct. We'll see if Soon can land a big Pulse Bomb.
Also look for Agilities and the Dragon Blade. He's going to want that sound barrier protection, so when he decides to activate it, he's waiting for the members to drop down and contest that payload. Gets right in their face, and he's just not going to wait. He's going to go ahead and use it. There goes the Transcendence, though, from Unko. Forces that one out, so I think that was overall a win for him, especially considering he takes out Win, so he won't be able to gain any ult charge as well. And Immortals really getting a lot of value out of this particular fight here.
You do use the Dragon Blade, and it will be Rogue that comes back. Rogue still has this EMP. Nico with the Self-Destruct, so it will be Rogue winning the fight. They'll be able to take control.
Still think
of the
forcing out that
payload
Transcendence was great, though.
It is. I mean, you don't have an own Transcendence of your own, though, right? So now Kareev having to build right back up towards his own Transcendence. Verbo with a sound barrier coming into the next fight, but you'll see a sound barrier on the side of Rogue as well. The issue with the sound barrier for the side of Immortals is AKM has that EMP to negate the effects of it. Immortals
true.
can't be stacked here. You know, they want to get the effects of the sound barrier. They need to get that EMP out first.
Yeah, or they eliminate Sombra from the equation. Kareev, though, not going to happen. Sombra gets 1 kill there on Kareev, so he won't be able to stay alive in the back lines. Burbo just waiting for it, and really this is just a game of chicken. Who's going to use it first? And Immortals having to back away here, and you're right, X. I mean, this is not good for Immortals here. They have that sound barrier, and as soon as it comes out, it's done.
Well, I mean, when Immortals, Kareev dies right at the beginning, you don't want to invest the sound barrier there because then the AKMs, you know, EMP comes in, negates all the effects, and then you have nothing for this last final push. Rogue will have both support also. They'll get their Transcendence online, and they'll have their sound barrier here as well. See Grim just trying to force this Transcendence out of Unko. Unko dies right before he's about to get it there. AKM dies
That's
as well
big.
before they can use the EMP.
That's exactly what they wanted to happen there. At the very least, take out the Sombra so you don't have to worry about the EMP. They will be able to get this next cap, but it happens in overtime, so they only have 1 minute and 27 seconds to work with. And on this third phase, it is very difficult to march this payload to the final point.
If Rogue can get 1 stop here, though, Alex, you know, they're in a good spot to stop No Immortals from completing the map because this
Which I
choke's so
think they
hard to
will.
get through. They have to stack up. Kareev going to get his Transcendence now. We'll just see when AKM decides to use that EMP, land on the members of Rogue, on the side of Immortals. As you see AKM going to the back line, putting a lot of pressure on Kareev. They will drop Unko, though, at the beginning, so Rogue not able to protect their supports yet again.
EMP does come out. Kareev still able to use his Transcendence, though. And you'd mentioned it before. You said if they're able to get 1 fight, they'll be in a good spot. Now they just got to get this payload around the corner, and that was for Rogue. But now that Immortals have been able to win this fight, well, you know, I think Immortals are feeling pretty good here. Still, though, you have those support ults you got to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, AKM switches off of the Sombra. He'll go over to Soldier 76. Only 32 seconds left here. Rogue can lead the way with one of their support ults, try and put the pressure on, and that's a huge kill there from Unko on a Grim Reality. The Transcendence comes out right away.
That was not what Grim wanted at all. I mean, you come around the corner, you just get a bunch of balls in the face, and that is a wrap. 13 seconds remaining. They have to get to that payload, but Rogue are forcing them back.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue, they used the Transcendence there, but it was only Fate, I believe, alive for Immortals. But the big thing is they need to get back towards the cart. You see Envy flying towards the cart here. We'll see if you can get a good Dragon Blade here from Agilities. He's going to fly on through. The sound barrier comes in. AKM runs all the way back to his spawn. Finally will fall, but the rest of Immortals is falling back on the cart.
It's desperation time for Immortals. They really want to push this payload forward, but they just don't have the manpower to make it happen. Fate, though, he's going to do his best to stall this one out. Gets right back on the point, jumps up and down to just stay alive here. And maybe he could do it. No, he won't be able to get back in time. His teammates either. And Immortals will only be able to get 2 points there, but still significant progress made with the payload, just not enough to secure 3 points. And Rogue, I said it, they're a great defensive team here. But, you know, I mean, on the third phase, it's a little bit easier because that spawn is literally right there.
Now, we'll see now as Immortals will be on the defensive end. You know, still some time, you know, to make some changes, but I really liked what you saw out of Rogue there. You know, they didn't really get a great use to that EMP there towards the end, but they're still able to make that last fight work. AKM switches over to the 76. You're able, I think, to get Grim out of the equation right away. You know,
That
you get
hero
that
play
Tracer
from Unco, man. That was a great read. Just shredded him as soon as he poked his head out.
And then, you know, it's just kind of a rush push for Immortals there at the end. You have to get Envy on the card. He gets there, uses a self-destruct. Then you see Agilities use the blade. He just goes so far in the back for AKM. He's finally able to get him, but by the time he does, I mean, the sound barrier keeps the rest of the Rogue members alive on the payload. So, you know, they just take out the remaining members of Immortals.
Also, Immortals were never really able to build up support ults there, right, the entire time, because they constantly were just playing in that panicked mode where they really couldn't put the damage in, I'm sure, the way that they would have liked. And also, funny enough, I mean, Unco and Wins never using those ults really helped them out there, you know, toward the end. But anyway, let's see what Rogue are going to do on the attack. They're going to run AKM on that 76. Look for him to be a big playmaker here. And no Ana for Immortal. So this is interesting. Mirror comps on both sides.
Yeah, we'll see Grim Reality on the 76 and Agilities on the Tracer. For Rogue, you know, with your own 76, you know, maybe you see 76 try and get set up on the high ground to the left, and then you get, you know, a good dive going with Nox, Nico, and Soon, just forcing them down from the high ground, allowing AKM, you know, just like he did on Lijiang Tower, get that high ground control, just be uncontested.
And that was Envy just getting the read, seeing who's going to be marching down the street there. Look for AKM and Unco to kind of be playing hand in hand with one another. Oh, Unco gets a decent shot there as well onto Verbo. They're going to be a little weak. Nox just going to have to back away, though, unfortunately for him, as he kind of gets soloed out. Soon to the back lines, though. 20 health, has to use his rewind, but he's back on the point, and they have the control, and they're pushing Immortals back here. You know, not letting them get out of this zone. And they're just playing this one very well. They were able to get themselves 2 ticks, and despite them losing out on Nico's D.Va, they still make good progress on point A, so you have to commend them for that one.
They make fantastic progress, and they just back up a little bit, and they're able to demech Envy on the point. AKM, just being left uncontested here on the 76. The point will go over to Rogue.
Nice.
They don't have to invest any support ults there. Didn't have to use a pulse bomb to do it.
And very well done, though, as well, because when you think about it, right, you have to push out from that street, and it's very difficult to push out from that street and then just not get shredded by the D.Va, or excuse me, the Tracer and the Zenyatta.
Well, what happened at the beginning is you saw Unco, line up some shots. He was able to land some, those Zenyatta orbs into Verbo, gets him really weak, and that forces Immortals to just back off the high ground. Rogue initiates,
putting out damage.
and then Immortals has to reset, right? So when Immortals comes back towards the cart, they're still not all at full health. You're able to demech Envy, then everything falls apart. It will be Transcendence coming out from both sides as Immortals trying to get aggressive.
Nico looking for this opportunity, and he's really just dealing with a lot in front of him. Sound barrier is going to be dropped also on both sides, so it feels like both teams are really just reading each other's minds here, dropping their support ults at the same time. Agilities, though, will go down, so you're not going to have a backline pressure from Agilities and Fate. And Rogue, I mean, they march right through here. They're making good progress, and this is very different from what we saw before from Immortals when they were in a similar fight, but they couldn't get the payload down past this bend.
Yeah, support ults come out from both sides as Immortals trying to get aggressive. Rogue just trying to disengage, stay alive. The attack visor from AKM, he was able to get agility. He's weak, makes the call out. Nox jumps right on him. You get agility, so dangerous on the Genji out of the fight, and it's going to be a self-destruct that comes in.
And look at that. You're
Nobody
getting
gets
Creeve
hit
out of the
now.
fight. You're getting Creeve so far out of the fight. I mean, you have to get those kills, though, and so far Creeve has managed to stay alive. Finally gets picked off by Nox, but that means you're not going to have the protection there as well into the back line. Nox is going to have to force his way back. Immortals win that one. They invested a lot into that jump onto Creeve, but while that was going on, they just charged right after the back line there, and really Rogue just didn't have a choice. They had to disengage.
Yeah, they had Nox lead the charge, and then a self-destruct go out as well. The self-destruct gets nothing, and as soon as that comes through, Immortals, they pop that Dragon Blade. Agility is able to do some work. Nox ends up using his Primal Rage there, just trying to keep this one alive for Rogue. And now Rogue comes into this fight, just a Pulse Bomb. Now maybe you can get a nice Pulse Bomb from Soon to force out the Transcendence on the side of Immortals.
Nox playing around the corner here. They're just trying to play the safe spot. There goes the Transcendence now, and they're just going to push them forward. So Immortals, good job on defense. But Soon, he gets to the payload, tries to put some pressure, force some of the members to have to go back and deal with that, or else, he could have caught, if you're not careful, right, you can easily get that cap. So you're not necessarily going to happen there against Immortals, a team that's as practiced as this squad is. And so far, so good. They're making their second hold possible.
Yeah, but now Rogue is starting to build up some ults. You're going to have Sound Barrier, Transcendence, Tack Visor, and a Pulse Bomb here for the side of Immortals. That you're really just banking on agilities, getting this Dragon Blade back. You have a Sound Barrier of your own. We'll see if they use it to get aggressive, and it looks like what's going to happen.
You called it, X. They use it to get aggressive, but that means Unco uses the Transcendence so that he could keep his team alive, work with AKM to get the kills with the Tack Visor, but there's nothing really there to follow up. Wins dies immediately. Luckily, he was able to get the beat out, but still, though, Immortals, they get the kills, and so far, so good for the red team as they are tipping the odds in their favor. Soon, you can always rely on him to get kills, but I don't even think not even he will be able to keep them in this fight, and Immortals are making this hold happen. This is very impressive.
Yeah, and Rogue uses a lot there, so Immortals opens things up. They have the Sound Barrier plus the Dragon Blade. They try and push back to the side of Rogue. Rogue uses the Transcendence. Immortals' agilities in that fight had to back all the way out. But then what happened is Rogue used both of their support ults there to try and stay alive. They end up losing that fight. So now with only 1 minute and 30 to go, you don't have your Transcendence. You don't have your Sound Barrier as well. You're able to demech Envy here, and then you actually saw Nico there eat the Pulse Bomb of Grim Reality. So maybe now Rogue can make something happen.
Kareev has Transcendence. And he's going to use it. He's going to use it to go right into the back there with Fate, try and keep him alive. Agilities, though, will fall immediately. So will Verbo, and soon he's just going to have to charge straight forward to Kareev, knowing that this is a one fight. And Rogue do manage to make the push happen, but still an admirable defensive hold from Immortals. They certainly were bringing it to Rogue, and I don't think that they were necessarily expecting that one.
Now soon, with this Pulse Bomb, trying to get a read on where the members for Immortals are going. If he can land a big Pulse Bomb here. You saw Kareev lining up those orbs, did not want to peek around the corner.
But they know he's there.
If he can get one of these supports, though, it'd be so huge for Rogue. And you see Rogue's going to dive all the way into the back. There goes the Pulse Bomb. Nothing home there.
Look at that pressure that Rogue puts down. I mean, sure, you know, like you knew exactly where Soon was going to be, but they were focusing so much that it just gave Rogue that opportunity to just push forward. AKM with Tac Visor yet again, now looking to use the Transcendence as a great cover to get kills, and that's just really going to force everyone back here. They make their way around this bend, and now this is when things get a little hairy. Well, that Diva Bomb went far back, takes out Wins, but still, though, I think they're looking pretty solid thus far, maintaining control at this point.
Well, that's a huge kill because now it allows Immortals to use their sound barrier. Wins, you know, you're trying to stagger those support ults. You would use the Transcendence, Wins like 90% to that sound barrier, and when he falls there, you don't have that sound barrier to keep that fight going, and you had just invested so many ults into it, so that self-destruct pretty big there for Envy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes, right, a lot of players throw up self-destructs really just willy-nilly, right? Like, toss it up in the sky, see what happens. But that one ended up landing on a pretty critical target there, as you had pointed out before. I noticed they had bodies onto the point, but once you were 100% correct, X, once you lose out onto that support, it definitely hurts. Soon up against Grim Reality, two fantastic tracers dueling it out here. Soon's going to go on the chase. Grim Reality is just going to have to back away. Now, less than a minute remaining. They know Grim's going to be hanging out above him because Soon had just fought him there. They also have to be cautious about players coming through the back. There goes the self-destruct as well as the beat dropping. Now the Transcendence is going to be out on Immortals. They're going to have to push them back here with less than a minute remaining.
It'll be the Pulse Bomb of Soon that's eaten up there, so you're not going to have anything come out of that for Rogue. Rogue, you do have the Primal Rage. You're going to get AKM with another Tac Visor here. No support ults on the side of Immortals. You will get Rogue, Unko specifically, with that Transcendence here very shortly.
That Transcendence is going to be a playmaker there. He has to stay alive, but I don't even know if they're going to need it. They're so close. 2.92 meters, and AKM clears them right through. They use the ults to get the kills, and that's going to do it. Rogue are going to win it out 3-2. And they will go up in the series 2-0.
Yeah, Nox just smashing people around with the Primal Rage. AKM lines a few up with the Tac Visor. His 76 has been fantastic throughout the first two maps. And you had Unko there earning his Transcendence towards the end. Uses it, didn't really need it there to bring the payload home. So it'll be Rogue up 2-0 here against Immortals in a must-win match for this Immortals squad.
Yeah, this is do or die for this team. And, you know, I commend Immortals because they did have a great second point hold. But, I mean, again, it's just Rogue. They know how to play Numbani very well. This team, every time they play Numbani, they come out on top here. So had Immortals gotten that win, I certainly would have been shocked. But now that Rogue are up 2-0, Immortals, they're in the hot seat.
I mean, this series was must-win for Immortals. Now every map from here on out is a must-win for Immortals. I'm interested to see, you know, which map we see next. I know where Immortals decides to take this series, because a lot of people surprised we saw Numbani, which was their pick, you know, a favorite of Rogue. Interested to see where we go on the next map.
That's right. But for now, though, let's go ahead and send it over to the desk to break everything down. Halftime, players are going to get themselves together and get ready for Game 3. But let's send it over to Puckett and the boys.